Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm here to share the speaker portion of our Connections Over Coffee gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community on Zoom. Bessie Estonactoc is speaking on Bust Through Your Fear of Being Intuitively Woo. As a former psychotherapist of 20 plus years, Bessie has helped hundreds of women heal and soulfully transform their life, work, and or relationships. Now as a spiritual coach, healer, and hypnotherapist, Bessie's passion is supporting professional spiritual women in midlife to find inner peace and happiness in their life and work, no matter the circumstances in their life. She loves helping women trust their intuition to embody this gift in their daily life. So let's give a nice little round of applause for Bessie. And go ahead, Bessie, whenever you're ready. You are muted, Bessie.
That would help, right? To unmute myself. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Jenny. And thank you, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. So my topic today is bust through your fear of being intuitively woo and demystifying being woo, or you can say woo-woo, and how it relates to 3D and 5D living. So what I'm going to be talking about today is what does living in 3D mean? What does 5D, D meaning dimension, third dimension, fifth dimension, some signs that you're moving from 3D to 5D, and what does being intuitively woo really mean, and how you can bust through your fear of being intuitively woo. So first, I want to just say that 3D and 5D is not somewhere out there. It's a level of consciousness. And the energies are different. Third dimension and fifth dimension are different levels of consciousness. And they're different beliefs about your reality and your way of thinking and being. So I'm going to talk about, I'll call her Misty. That's not a real name, but her name is Misty, one of my clients. And I'm going to use her as an example of how I've helped her move from 3D or to live 3D and 5D simultaneously, learning how to be able to do that. So my client Misty has experienced trauma, physical abuse in her childhood years. She wasn't allowed to speak up or she'd get punished. She had to hold on to the secret of being physically abused. So imagine she was in hypervigilance, not knowing when the next time she was going to be physically abused. So in her adult life, moving into her adult life, she was overweight. She wasn't happy. She had some notion of being intuitive, but she kind of like didn't know what that was and kind of put it by the wayside. So let's talk about what living in 3D means. So think about it being a state of consciousness, right? It's like that dense energy, material possessions, security, focus on survival, accumulation of wealth. That's the focus, okay, that dense energy. Or it's like, okay, we work, we bring home money, we got to take care of the family and pay the bills, routine things like that, just rote things. And then when things happen in life, it's like, life is hard. It's a struggle. If things have happened, like for Misty, it's like, it's their fault. It's their fault. So the victim thinking, it's a victim thinking. And so there's that duality of male and female, right or wrong, good and bad. I mean, the political system, you know, all those kind of things. There's a lot of strife, I guess you would say, and that dense energy. So then what does 5D mean? So it's a level of understanding that there's more to life than this life. There's that awareness and perception that we can see life in a more, in a bigger way, a multidimensional way. It's like you're going through this ascension process, knowing that, I've been getting some intuitive hits, person example, or I've been getting like nudges from my guides or my angels that there's just something, and there's just something more to than just this life. And some signs of living more in 5D is that that there's more to life than this life. If you've had maybe some spiritual contact with your guides, your angels, ancestors, you're living more in ease. So for example, we're spiritual beings living this human existence, right? Spiritual beings. So if we know that there's struggle, it's like looking at the lesson of the spiritual way of living. What's the lesson here? What is there more that I need to learn in order for me to be the best that I can be, as opposed to the victim thinking, right? And then looking at opening our heart chakra, having that unconditional love for ourselves and others, knowing that you have a bigger purpose, and there's this feeling like, God, I want to be able to share my gifts more with the world, and you're trusting your intuition. You're trusting your intuition more, knowing that, gosh, there's a part of myself that can download information that can really help me to live this life in an easier, more flowing way. Also, it's understanding our chakras. And I love talking about the chakras in my work with my clients, because the chakras are a mirror of who we are in our life and how we can understand ourselves and how we can heal our life. So here is my client, Misty. She was successful at work. She had some intuitive notions, but she felt stuck. I mean, her life was really in shambles. She came to me initially for Reiki because she knew that there was something about energy and healing, but she wanted to learn more how to trust herself because things were falling apart. Her relationship with her boyfriend was like, she knew deep down that it was time to make that split, but there was this struggle that she was having. So these are some signs that she moved in from 3D to 5D more, learning how to be able to live in this physical life, but really trusting her intuition more. She knew that she needed to take care of herself. So she prioritized her life. What did she want? She wanted more happiness in her life. She wanted to look more than, I'm successful in my business, but I'm not happy inside. She was looking at her health. It's like she was overweight. It was like she found out that she was emotionally eating because of some things that have happened in her past. And so she was assessing her relationships. And she was learning how to be able to tune into her higher self for insight and support. What we also did together was we examined those core wounds. There was energy that was stuck in her body about this physical trauma. And so that's why there was that hypervigilance. She had a hard time speaking her truth. And it was hard for her to have trust and faith in life. So by examining her core wounds, we did hypnotherapy, we did past life regression, and she learned to understand that, okay, I'm not a victim in my life. These things that have happened in my life are are ways to be able to unleash who I am as a spiritual being. She was able to understand herself more, trusting her intuition, tuning into her downloads that she would get, trusting in her guides. And, what's happened is that she's been even more successful at work. She's gotten bigger bonuses. She's actually said, this relationship is toxic. It doesn't serve me anymore. That's it. That's it. I have more self-love for myself to know that I deserve to be in a loving relationship. And so she's gone on to lose weight. She's exercising more. She's taking care of herself. And so she's cleared out a lot of muck, old stories, old childhood conditioning, not feeling worthy, all those things, just kind of clearing the muck. And so I just love that Misty has been able to learn that, wow, yes, life can be challenging, but I can learn to look at what are the lessons that I need to learn in this life that will help me shine my soul, let go of any old stories that that's not allowing me to speak my truth, to trust my intuition, all that. She's been able to just kind of like, I can even see it in her face that she's just smiling more. She's more happy and knows that whatever else comes her way in this life, that it doesn't have to be a struggle. It may be challenging, but it's being able to have that trust and flow that the universe has her back, that she has her guides to be able to support and help her, that she's not just this human being, right, living the spiritual experience. She's a spiritual being living a human existence and learning how to be able to walk her life in more, just more ease, having more confidence, having more courage, and really being able to be the true essence of who she is in her soul. So, I was looking up woo-woo in the dictionary on Google. So I'm going to read it to you. Woo-woo, as Merriam-Webster defines, is a dubiously or outlandishly mystical, supernatural, scientific thing. I don't, it didn't say thing, but it's described as dubiously or outlandishly mystical, supernatural, or unscientific. Well, there are, and I forget his name, but the past lives person, Brian Weiss, I think is his name. He's been able to do past life regressions on clients to find out why they're depressed, why they have anxiety, and all sort of other things, because there's been proof of these clients have learned to be able to understand, follow the breadcrumbs to know that, this is from that past life. It was like an aha moment to be able to understand that. And that's what my client Misty did. So, we as woo-woos, and I'm embracing that I'm a woo-woo. I don't go around saying that I'm woo-woo, but I can in this group because that's who we are. And when I say intuitively woo-woo, it's like understanding that our intuition is the ability to understand something immediately, just really being able to get that download without that need for conscious reasoning. You just know, excuse me, you just know. And so when you're trusting your intuition, you're flowing with life and knowing that the universe is always there for you and not against you. And all things happen for a higher purpose. And so intuition and being woo-woo is like water. That's what one of my teachers told me. It's like water. We need water. We're like 70, 80% water. It's a part of who we are. And it's important to embrace it, because when we can trust that we are multidimensional beings, that there's something more to than this physical life, that when we die, right, we leave this body, but we go to another dimension. I can't tell you where because I don't know exactly, but I know that I've had experiences of being able to connect with my mother who passed away, with my dad. I know that there's more to life than this life. And it's trusting that. It's trusting that. And I have 5 more minutes. I just want to just share one thing. I used to be a counselor and worked at an army base. And that was like totally different culture. Now, I didn't go around saying, oh, I'm woo-woo, hello, hello. I didn't do that. Of course not. Of course not. But I knew that for me, it was important to draw from my inner essence, my soul, getting downloads from my guides or intuitive hits of how to be able to support the soldiers and the leadership. And when I was grounded in myself, when I was able to tune in to my intuition and how I can be a light to the soldiers and the leaders, I felt more like I was really living my purpose being there. And that even though it felt like a different culture, I was still walking within me, very strong, very courageous, very confident, knowing that I can be here because I'm here for a purpose. And it was a beautiful experience to be able to support the military in the way that I did. Even though initially I thought, oh my God, how can I do this? Because it's a totally different culture, but I did it. And I feel really good that I was able to be of service to the military. So how can you bust through your fear of being intuitively woo? First of all, remember, it's a part of who you are. It's a part of who you are. It's like water. It's who we are. It's naturally who we are. So embrace it and trust it. You don't need to go around saying that you're woo-woo, but you can know you have that inner knowing, and you're walking your talk. You're walking who you are trusting to be in this life. You're listening to your intuition, to your guides, to your downloads on how you wish to be in the world or in your day. I have a beautiful journal that I use. I got it on Amazon, but it's beautiful. And inside there's no words. It's blank pages. What I do is I meditate every morning. I ground and breathe. I tap into what is it that I need to know today? Or I tap into my guides. How can I be of service today for, if you have a client that's coming up? And just tuning in, listening, and writing what comes, just writing what comes. And I love that I can write things down in my journal because I'm really wanting to become more in tune with my intuition, more channeling, more, I don't want to know, maybe mediumship, I'm not sure. But what I know is that when I can stop, take some time to tune in to me and my inner soul and my essence, that when I can open up to source, the divine, whatever name you'd like to call it, and trust what comes, wow, it's just, the day just flows with just beauty and ease. So if anyone wants to know the link to this, it's on Amazon, but it's a beautiful, beautiful journal, and a beautiful ritual to tune in and write down any intuitive hits that you get that you can maybe refer to later. It's like your journal, your intuitive journal. So I want to just really emphasize that life is a journey, not a destination. And the more that you practice learning how to strengthen your intuitive muscle, the more that you open up and you trust that there's something bigger than you, you're going to learn and grow through your challenges. You're going to have life with more ease and flow. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful thing. And so that's the end of my presentation. What I want to mention is I have a chakra quiz. And it's a free quiz that you can actually take. And once you take the quiz, if you sign up to have a free 30-minute session with me, I can go over the results of your quiz. I can talk about, I do some energy healing. I help you understand what's going on in your life and how to be able to move through any challenges that you're having by understanding your chakras more. So I'd love for you to take the quiz, and I'll put the quiz link on in the Facebook page as well, but I have the link here also. So that is my presentation. Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
Thank you. Yes, unmute yourself, everyone, and let's Bessie a round of applause.
Yay!
So I'm going to wrap this up on Facebook Live, and then we'll have a couple of minutes if anybody has questions for Bessie. But thank you so much, Bessie, for such a beautiful explanation of intuition. I'm sure that a lot of people will get great value from that. And thank you to anyone who is watching this live or watching the replay. If you'd like to join us for one of our 11 free Zoom gatherings a month, or in person in Richmond, Virginia, or Charlottesville, Virginia, comment below, and I'll let you know how to do that. You can also go to my website, opwgc.com, and find out all about our community. Thank you so much. I'm sorry.